Hi, it's Roro. This is Roro Rants, and I need to make another video because I really got a lot of dislikes on that last video I made about Antifa, and it just seems like this country is just going to hell. It's really getting bad. I think we're in a civil war. It looks like there's just so much fighting. I got more dislike. I think I got one like by one of my friends, and the rest all dislikes. So I just wanted to say I don't condone violence. I'm not saying that I condone anybody that's going out there in black bloc just to make trouble and be anarchists and destroy property and rioting. I don't condone that. What I saw, now I don't know if that's other countries. I know that Antifa means different things in different countries. It's kind of new to the US. It's only been around a year or so. I mean, in the Middle East, it's way different. I mean, they're ISIS or they're fighting ISIS or something. I don't even know. I need to read up about more of that, of what they are in other countries. In some of the places in Europe, they're the Muslim refugees and they're fighting for rights. But here in the United States, they are a symptom. They are not the disease. They are a symptom of a bigger problem. And labeling them as a terrorist group is just putting a Band-Aid on the symptom. It's just like what doctors do to diseases in this country. They just treat the symptoms. They don't get at the root cause. If we didn't have a fascist white supremacist in the White House, we wouldn't have kids running around yelling anti-fascist. If we didn't have people meeting, if we didn't have neo-Nazis and hate groups meeting in public places, I mean, they didn't do that when I was young, 30 years ago, when I was in college. We didn't have white supremacists meeting in public places. Yeah, there were white supremacists. They were in prison. And when you got out of prison, you didn't really go looking for them, They were just there to protect you while you were in prison, and that was about it. You got out, you kind of went back home and went back to your old friends, and, if you owed them something, you owed them, but, whatever. Why am I even getting off on this subject? All I'm saying is, okay, as far as hate speech, I mean, let me get back to that video I did. I mean, I've been called fat. I've been called ugly. I've been personally attacked for my ideas. Now, these are people that are saying that we need to have free speech. And then I make a video and I get personally attacked. I've been threatened with the ancient Egyptian magic frog god demon, which I don't believe in that stuff, but you never know. I don't know. I don't like fucking around with that stuff, I've been called a communist. I mean, I'm far from a communist. I'm not even a Democrat. I don't know why everybody thinks I'm a liberal and a Democrat. I'm not. I'm very liberal on most issues, but I'm pretty conservative on some issues. I am definitely against gun control. I think we need to have every kind of gun that the military has because I don't trust the government. I believe in some conspiracy theories. 9/11 was definitely not what they told us. Yeah, the Saudis did it. Why didn't we go after Saudi Arabia? Why are we still pals with Saudi Arabia when the Saudis did 9/11? I don't trust our government. And if there's ever an apocalypse, then we need to have our own guns. Because, I watch all those shows and shit. That shit could happen. You never know. I believe there might be aliens. I mean, I believe in a lot of conspiracy theories. I'm not one of these Alex Jones people, but, there's definitely chemtrails up there. I haven't decided. For a while I thought it was geoengineering, but now I'm starting to think, I've been reading about this black goo and nanoparticles and stuff. Oh, who knows? Now I got a whole nother stuff. I've been getting into conspiracy theories lately, but anyway, and I am a constitutional, I believe in our Constitution. I'm not a communist. I love our freedom of speech. To me, freedom of speech means freedom of the press, which we don't have in this country. We don't have freedom of the press. Our media, which 50 to 80% of the electorate watches, because most people that vote just watch Fox News or CNN. It is controlled by the military-industrial complex, big oil, Wall Street, big corporations. That's who owns our media. They decide what we see. Well, not me, because most of us who are here on the internet, we do our own research. But most of the electorate is ignorant, and they just watch either CNN or Fox News. And whatever side of the story, that's who they vote for. And so, that's not free speech. That's not freedom of the press. That's what free speech is supposed to be. We don't have that in this country. We used to. We did when I was young. We didn't have monopolies when I was young. When I was young, if there was a danger of being a monopoly, it got broken up. Things were different when I was young. I've watched this country go through so many changes. I don't know if you all know this, but I'm old as fuck. I'm 53. And for those of you saying, yeah, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm 53 years old. I was hot when I was young. I was a babe. I was 112 pounds and I was smoking hot. And yeah, I'm disabled. I've got a back full of metal. I've had 7 surgeries. I got rods and screws in my back. I got a plate in my neck. I can't exercise anymore. So yeah, I gained some weight, but I'm 53 and I do what I could do. I keep trying. I'm not in a wheelchair. My doctors are amazed that I'm still walking around, but I keep trying every day. I get up, I keep trying, and some days I get hurt. I try too hard, I do something, and then I'm hurt, and then I'm in bed for a week or a month. And then, not in bed, but you can't exercise for a week or a month. And then got to start all over. And then start walking. I get myself up to like a mile and a half, and then I hurt myself again. And then the cycle starts all over. But anyway, so I'm definitely not a communist, but I can understand why the generation today is attracted to communism. The kids today have no hope. It wasn't like that when I was young. When I was young, if you had a college degree, you got a good job. And you were guaranteed that you were going to get a good job, and you were going to make good money, and be able to get, a house, and get a wife, and have some kids, and put them through college, and put something away for your retirement. And even if you didn't have a college degree, if you got a job in a factory or some company and you were willing to work hard and work your way up, you could still do all that. Nowadays, there ain't no jobs out there nowadays. There just ain't none. I don't know where you live. Where I live, there ain't no jobs. And even kids with good degrees still can't find jobs. When I was young, even if you had a bullshit psychology degree from a community college, you were guaranteed you were going to get a job if you had a college degree. That was a big deal. College degree was a big deal. And the government paid for most of that shit. I don't remember anybody having student loans. If they did, they weren't no $100,000. Kids come out of college with $100,000 student loan and can't find a job. What kind of fucking bullshit is that? When I was young, my tuition was $500 a month, $500 a semester. I think my high school private school tuition was more than my college tuition. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic again. So yeah, I could see why these kids get attracted to communism. There is no fucking hope for them. There were communist teachers. Yeah, you're blaming it on the teachers brainwashing them. Bullshit. We had commie teachers too. Yeah, they existed back then. Most professors are weird. A lot of them are very philosophical and they believe in all that theoretical crap. And in theory, communism looks good in theory, because if it were perfect, oh God, I thought that was a deer. It's a person walking back there. Yeah, the theory of it looks good, but it never works because you get corrupt people and then it doesn't work. And that's what happened with Russia, and that's what's happening with China, and that's what fucking happens. It doesn't work because you get corrupt people. You're always going to get corrupt people because we're human. But the philosophers and the smart people think, oh, it would all be perfect if we were all equal. And da, da, da. Yeah, well, it's not going to happen because humans. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm not a communist. And as far as freedom of speech, yeah, there's a link I'm going to put down that talks about it's actually I found this link and it describes what I believe perfectly. You have freedom of speech as long as it doesn't infringe on someone else's rights. Freedom of speech really is supposed to be freedom of the press, but you could say whatever you want in your house. You're driving down the road, you could yell whatever you want. That's freedom of speech. You can't assemble in a public place and with megaphones and yell out shit that's hateful and hurtful. That I don't agree with. Because then you're going to get protesters and then you're going to have fights, and you're going to have riots, and this is what's going to happen. So no, go meet in someone's basement or something. Don't fucking meet in a square and saying that hateful shit when you know you're going to have that. It's not necessary. It's not necessary to hate speech broadcast in a public park. You're just asking for trouble. You're the minority now, white people. Get used to it. Maybe in some areas of the country, you may still be the majority, but your kids are going to grow up and that's going to change. And what kind of country you want your kids to grow up in? You want your kids to grow up in a country where they can't find a job? Because that's what's going to happen to the whole country. Because when the economy crashes, the whole economy is going to crash. Not just in the north, south, east, west, whatever. What we need to do is on that thread, some racist guy calling me ugly, fat, whatever, I talked to him. We ended up talking. We ended up having, and we had it out, but we ended up making up at the end. And we ended up respecting each other, and it was cool. And you know what? That's what everybody needs to do. And yeah, I don't like the fact that he's a racist. I don't agree with that. But we need to come together, Republicans, Democrats, because if we don't, then our whole fucking country is going to go, we're lost. We might as well, there's going to be no country left. It's going to be lights out for the U.S. Because, with people saying about Antifa in other countries, what if some of these people that are in Black Bloc are from other countries? What if they're not all just college students? What if they are coming in from other countries? I mean, they're not going to, some white people come in have a name that's not going to pick up on any terrorist things or anything. They can come in all they want. What if they are the Antifa that's from the other countries where they're real violent and causing all kinds of havoc in the other countries? Antifa started here as just peaceful protesters because the peaceful protesters at the Trump rallies were getting the fucking shit kicked out of them by the white supremacists. That's how it started. They were there, the Democrats went there to just peacefully protest the Trump rallies. Even if just a few people went to a Trump rally, they would get beat up by the white supremacists at the Trump rallies, the Trump supporters. So they start bringing more of their friends, bringing more friends. This is what happened. And now it's turned into Antifa. So you guys started it. So it doesn't matter who started it. I'm not going to talk about this anymore because what we need to do is we need to come together on some common things. Now, forget about the hate speech. Yeah, you know what? What do you think of NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association? They thought they had the freedom of speech. They wanted to post things on websites saying how to molest children and get away with it and stuff. They thought that was their protected freedom of speech because they wanted to make it a political movement that as long as they didn't hurt or kill children, that it was okay to have sex with them. That was their political movement. People didn't like that. That's not freedom of speech. That's inciting a crime. Okay? they got that shit shut down. The FBI went in and instigated them. One of their people at the top disappeared. I'm sure the FBI made him disappear, and everybody else got scared and ran off. I don't know exactly what happened. They had a murder case. Somebody tried to accuse them because their kid got killed, and the guy said he got the information how to do it on their site and tried to blame them. And defense lawyers try to blame everybody, you know. And so NAMBLA, they don't have free speech anymore. And you know, some of us feel the same way about your freaking hate laws, because hate speech, because it's inciting violence. This is how this started. Trump started his rallies and started encouraging his fans to beat up people at his rallies, and then you know, they got pissed, and then more and more hate crimes. The hate crimes have just skyrocketed since Trump's been president. Look at the statistics. I put the links in there. So, you know, that's one thing, but that's not one of the important issues right now. What we need to focus on are the important issues. And the most important thing is jobs. Because without jobs, people are going to be unhappy. They're going to revolt anyway about everything. If we don't have any jobs in this country, people aren't going to be able to support their families. Your kids aren't going to be able to grow up and get a job. And even if you have a little bit of money to leave your kids, what are their kids going to do? Do you have enough for them and their kids and their kids? Or if you have a business, you think it's still going to be around when the fucking whole country's burning down with riots? No. Nobody's going to be safe. So we need to work on economy, jobs. We need health care. People are dying from not having health care. We need single payer. Every other country has single payer. And one thing you need to learn is there is no debt. The government does not work like a checkbook, like, oh, we owe money. We don't borrow money from other countries. We write our own currency. The United States government is the issuer of our own currency. We don't owe money. We haven't, oh, I need some US dollars. I'm going to go borrow some from China. Really? Is that what you think? You think any other country is going to take on the US? That's bullshit. The US spends all this money on war and all these other things, and you think they can't afford to give us health care? No, you know what it is? They want us to be poor and enslaved so that we will work as slaves for them. They are not, the people at the top that are governing us now are not our government anymore. They're the oligarchy. They're the New World Order government. I don't know if you want to call it the New World Order, the oligarchy, Wall Street, military industrial complex, big ag, whatever you want to fucking call them. They're not Americans anymore. We are not being governed by Americans. And that brings me to my next thing that we got to fix first. Before any of the other things got to be fixed, we got to take back our elections. Okay, because for one thing, none of any of this would have started if Bernie Sanders would have become president. Because this is what all the millennials are really pissed about. Because they wanted Bernie Sanders. He had millions of votes taken away from him. He was cheated out of the Democratic nomination. He would have crushed Trump. Did you see his fucking rallies? Come on, he would have crushed Trump. Bernie was never even given a chance because the Democrats cheated. They admitted it in court. It's right here. Here's an article, but you know, there's tons of articles, news reports. You can even go read the court transcripts. I was given the court transcripts because I was a plaintiff in the case. My fucking Facebook page was used. There were 3 plaintiffs out of like 1,000 people in this class action lawsuit, and my Facebook page was used as evidence in the court along with like 2 other people. So anyway, in this court case, the DNC admitted that they don't have to be fair in elections. They admitted that they rigged the primaries and it was their right to do that. Right here, go into back rooms like they used to and smoke cigars and pick the candidate that way. So they admitted that they rigged it. Do you know how fucking pissed off these millennials were? Here they are, these college students gave up like 2 years of their life to be in this campaign, to go knock on doors for him and calls and do all this work. And and then they rig the primaries, they cheat and put Hillary and nominate Hillary. How do you think that would make them feel? Here they are, some of them, this is the first time they've ever participated in an election. And they here they are growing up thinking, oh, America's the greatest country in the world. That's what I was taught in school. And my first election, I voted for Reagan. Everything was great. So here they are, their first election, and it's rigged, and they waste 2 years of their life, and they find out they were cheated. No wonder they're fucking anarchists. It's just as much fault of the Democrats as it is of the Republicans. So anyway, here's this other article about the Democrats being silent on Antifa, and it sure ain't because they're guilty. They don't know which way is politically correct yet. They don't know if they're supposed to be, they don't know what they're supposed to say. They're waiting to see, oh, what's the political correct thing to do? Well, fuck them. And this professor here, fuck the Democrats. I told you, I'm not Democrat. I'm independent. I don't like either party. The government's fucking corrupt. I'm not an anarchist. I'm not a communist, but I'm independent. I voted for Jill Stein. I think she had a great plan. People can go and build their own communities, have their own money and their own everything, grow their own farms, and do what they want to do, live free. That's what freedom is, isn't it? This guy, this asshole, where is he? Alan Dershowitz, former Harvard law professor. Do not let the hard left, these radicals represent the Democratic Party. There is an alt-left, we cannot deny it. These alt-left radical people who want to deny us freedom of speech, who want to close the campus, they will not help us win elections. I do not want to give a pass to the hard radical left, which is destroying America, destroying. You know what? Fuck this guy. Yeah, they're not gonna help you win elections. You know what's not gonna help you win elections? Fucking cheating and rigging the election and then admitting it in court and pissing off a whole generation of young people, turning them into anarchists and communists. Oh God, I gotta get off this subject. But anyway, if it wasn't for this corrupt DNC, we would be looking at a President Bernie Sanders right now. We would have had Bernie Sanders for president. We would be talking right now about single-payer health care, forgiving student loans. You think these Antifa kids would be running around? Oh, and he wanted to do like a $10 billion infrastructure package to rebuild everything, all the infrastructure, water in Detroit and highways and bridges, all the shit that's fallen down, rebuild our country. Everybody would have had jobs. Everybody. So they wouldn't have time to go running around being anarchists because they'd be working. They'd have jobs, they'd have health care, they'd have their student loans forgiven. They'd be happy. They would not be worrying about being anarchists right now. They'd still be pissed off because you're Nazis and you're racist stuff. I'm joking. I'm only joking. Anyway, but those are the important things. Health care. Well, first we got to take back our elections. Take back our freedom of the press, our constitutional rights. We are getting our constitutional rights just stomped on. Fourth Amendment rights, the police are fucking insane, man. They are just fucking going around there. They're like it's like a military state. It already is like communist Russia. They're driving around in tanks in some cities. The police are driving around in tanks. I saw a video of some guy in Florida got pulled over by a tank for speeding. White guy, he's like, gets out of his car. He's like, are you seriously pulling me over in a tank? It's in one of my videos. It's in that Fuck the Police video. Don't get offended by Fuck the Police. I got cousins that are police officers. I know not all of them are bad, but they tell me, most of them are racist. And the ones that aren't racist will stick up for the other ones because they're all stick up for each other. Just like nobody stuck up for that nurse that got beat up the other day, because no one's going to stand up to another cop. They all stick together. Anyway, I like this website, Real Progressives, run by this guy, Steve Grumbine. You know, damn, this attack of the birds over here. Steve Grumbine, Real Progressives. He used to be a Republican, now he's independent, and he's really smart about all this economic stuff. He was an economics major, and he's been trying to build a coalition to just let us stand up for the things that we need to rebuild this country. Because if all of us, 99%, not the elite, the 99%, get together and stand up for the things that we need, we could do this. But the government's going to try to keep us apart. They're going to put these things, this racism and these fights and things, they're going to put this stuff to keep us apart because they want us apart. We gotta try to resist that. We gotta try to resist that, and we gotta come together as a country and focus on the important things. You know, back when I was in school, you know, things were different back then. Back when my parents first got married in the 50s and 60s, my dad didn't even have a high school diploma. He quit school, joined the Army, finished his degree in there, his high school diploma. My mom didn't finish school. But they provided a pretty damn good life for us. I mean, people should be able to do that. Your wealth shouldn't be just based on how smart you are or how much you could cheat someone else out of money like it is today. It should be based on also how willing you are to work hard, like my parents. You know, and that's what this country was built on. You know, my father fought in the Korean War. All my uncles were in World War II. They were all soldiers. My grandfathers fought in World War I. You know, our fathers and brothers and uncles, and they fought for our freedoms. So we need to protect them. We need to protect them for our children, for our grandchildren. And the only way we're going to do this is for us to all come together and stand up to these elite rich bastards like Trump and all the rest. I don't trust Trump. I don't care what you say. He's still a rich fucking New York. I'm not going to say nothing. I don't want to get people all riled up again. I'm trying to bring people together. It doesn't matter who you like or who you don't like. It's the principles that matter. He said he wanted to help us get jobs. Let's tell him to help us get jobs. Let's try some infrastructure package. Let's protest for him to give us an infrastructure package. Put all those kids to work. All those kids that are running around, let's put them to work. That'll get them off the streets. Instead of putting them in jail, what does he want to do? Put them all in Guantanamo? What if that was your kid? Let's put them to work instead. It's a better idea. Anyway, I got a lot more to say, but I can't remember because it's like, 7:30 in the morning, and I pulled an all-nighter again. So I gotta go to sleep before I cook Labor Day cookout on my, wait till you see this, what I got. The big green egg. Check that out. It's kind of dirty because we just burned off all the stuff off of it. That is the extra large. I got so much stuff to cook today. I got chicken, I got ribs, I got steak, I got what else? So yeah, I gotta catch a few hours of sleep, even though the sun's coming up. Let's catch a few hours of sleep and then cook. So see you later. Bye.